San Diego State, obviously, we know that they were close to joining the Pac-12, and then everything fell apart. Oregon goes to another conference, right? They go to the Big Ten. USC goes, and then Utah went, and Arizona State, and then there was two teams in the conference, Oregon State and Washington State. Now, the Pac-12, Pac-2, they have a little bit of a grace period here. They have some time to try to keep that conference alive. And so, naturally, you're going to try to recruit the Mountain West teams. This year in the football season, by the way, San Diego State, they are playing Oregon State. They're playing Washington State. And so there's that relationship there. There's that partnership. And now you've got the Pac-12, putting together this plan here, a long-discussed plan, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, to rebuild the league with additions from the Mountain West. And I'm reading this from Ross from earlier today. The Pac-12 is mobilizing its long-discussed plan to rebuild the league with additions from the Mountain West. The two-team conference of Washington State and Oregon State is targeting Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Fresno State as new additions in a reimagined Pac-12. Those schools are expected to soon apply or have already applied for membership into the conference, the first step in the process to complete the deal. They would join the league starting with the 2026 school year. So if that ends up being the case, like as an Aztecs fan, yeah, I would be pumped about that because that's really the best case scenario. Would I have loved to be a part of the Pac-12, like the actual Pac-12 with Oregon and USC and Washington? Washington was another team that left. Yeah, of course. I mean, I had the Pac-12, when my family had cable, watching the Pac-12 basketball games, the football, obviously, the Pac-12 at night, Pac-12 after dark. Like, I would have loved having San Diego State be a part of that conference. But this is the best case. It's not like they were going to go to the Big 12 or ACC or anything like that. And while the Mountain West, sure, like there's the history there, if you can be in the Pac-12, this could give you an automatic bid to the college football playoff. Like, that's just one of the aspects that I think about. And then Oregon State and Washington State, those are better programs, usually, just overall with their sports, than like Hawaii and I don't want to throw like specific team, under the bus. But, Hawaii, San Jose State, some other teams that are in the Mountain West. And so taking Washington State and Oregon State, putting them with Boise State, San Diego State, those are the top two teams in the Mountain West, right? I think like overall, when I think of the Mountain West, I think of Boise, I think of San Diego State, I think of Fresno. Maybe Wyoming joins that, Colorado State. Commissioner Teresa Gold and officials from the Pac-12 have spent the last year examining possible options for their future after 10 schools left the league for the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC. They have long held the belief that they can preserve the Pac-12 brand by reconstructing the conference through expansion, using the 108-year-old tradition, history, and assets to attract new members. Let's see. If the aforementioned four join, so obviously State, Colorado State, Boise, who am I missing? Fresno State. I would think that they want to attract UNLV as well, get that Las Vegas market in there. Maybe that's just me. The league still would need two more to complete the process, not including UNLV. I just threw that name in there. Maybe they'd want that. But if those four, including State, join, you still need two more to complete the process. So 2 plus 4, you need at least 8 schools at the very least. That's NCAA's minimum required to qualify as an FBS conference. It must reach the minimum by July of 2026. So they've got time. That's the good news here, is the Pac-12 has time for this to actually be a thing and for San Diego State to then join that conference. $17 million exit fee. The Pac-12 is on a hook for an additional $10 to $12 million penalty fee for every school they acquire as part of a scheduling agreement the conference struck with the Mountain West. So this would not be cheap. But let's remember, San Diego State was they seemed ready. Didn't they have paperwork? I think they had paperwork filled out. There was something I heard about that. And then it fell apart. There was that meeting with all the Pac-12 schools, and Oregon dipped, and teams just went. And that was that. And San Diego State was close. Like, they were going to join if that didn't happen. Which, it sucks, you know? Of course, I wanted to be in that conference with the, the whole Pac-12 conference, but that obviously just didn't happen. And so, again, like, this is probably the best situation that the Aztecs can be in. And the Aztecs, by the way, would be one of the better teams, if not the best all-around sports programs, if that makes sense, sports school in that conference. They would. With the basketball, football, obviously, that's not there, but it could be. Sean Lewis was talking about how this could take a couple of years here with this process and the buy-in. They've got a freshman quarterback, obviously, with Danny O'Neal. Like, it may take some time here. But basketball's there year in, year out. Softball's doing their thing. Baseball, they've had some success. So it's interesting. It's something to keep an eye on. And could have Oregon State and Washington State went to the Mountain West, I guess. But like the Pac-12, they had sure, they can throw the history out there. But what I was more concerned about, like, they have the title of being a major conference already, or the Mountain West doesn't. They're one of the group of 5 conferences, not the Power 5. And I mean, there's really like a Power 2 now, right? Sure, you can include Big 12 and ACC, but really the 2 big conferences are the Big 10 and the SEC. That's just what it is. And there's a bunch of schools in those 2 conferences. So for San Diego State to possibly, join a conference that, only 2 schools, but they were considered a Power 5 program, or Power 5, conference, that would hopefully put San Diego State, put that conference in the position to get an automatic bid into the college football playoff, whoever wins that conference. I'm not going to act like I know a bunch about how much money San Diego State would get from this, years and years down the road, being in the Pac-12 or the Pac-8 or whatever it ends up being. But if this does happen, this is great. It's earned. You want the football program to be better, but, they're building. And the basketball program deserves to be in a big conference. They do. And they deserve their respect. And San Diego State, they've upgraded facilities, obviously with Snapdragon Stadium. And, like, they were making that push to be like, we're really well positioned. Pac-12, you should want us. You should want our market in your conference. And I'm talking about before everything, collapsed there. And so I think San Diego State, they still deserve to, be in that conference, to take that next step, to be up there. We'll see what the conference ends up actually looking like. We'll see what schools do they add. Is it going to be, actually just West schools, or is it going to be like the Big Ten has done, and who cares about the actual location of the school, and you just try to go get the best market or the best school? It's going to be interesting. But if you're an Aztecs fan, I think you should be excited about this, but there's more details that we're going to probably have to learn about here. And, it's not like this is final. They still need more schools to actually have this be a thing. But there's time. 2026, like I said, there is that deadline.